MTC. Day 09, Number 1. We have a tendency to interpret events selectively. If we want things to be this way or that way, we can most certainly select, stack, or arrange evidence in a way that supports such a viewpoint. Selective perception is based on what seems to us to stand out. However, what seems to us to be standing out may very well be related to our goals, interests, expectations, past experiences, or current demands of the situation. With a hammer in hand, everything looks like a nail. This quote highlights the phenomenon of selective perception. If we want to use a hammer, then the world around us may begin to look as though it is full of nails. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 09, Number 2. In a culture where there is a belief that you can have anything you truly want, there is no problem in choosing. Many cultures, however, do not maintain this belief. In fact, many people do not believe that life is about getting what you want. Life is about doing what you are supposed to do. The reason they have trouble making choices is they believe that what they may want is not related to what they are supposed to do. The weight of outside considerations is greater than their desires. When this is an issue in a group, we discuss what makes for good decisions. If a person can be unburdened from their cares and duties and, just for a moment, consider what appeals to them, they get the chance to sort out what is important to them. Then they can consider and negotiate with their external pressures. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 09, Number 3. Due to technological innovations, music can now be experienced by more people, for more of the time than ever before. Mass availability has given individuals unheard of control over their own sound environment. However, it has also confronted them with the simultaneous availability of countless genres of music, in which they have to orient themselves. People start filtering out and organizing their digital libraries like they used to do with their physical music collections. However, there is the difference that the choice lies in their own hands. Without being restricted to the limited collection of music distributors, nor being guided by the local radio program as a pre-selector of the latest hits, the individual actively has to choose and determine his or her musical preferences. The search for the right song is thus associated with considerable effort. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 09, Number 4. Detailed study over the past 2 or 3 decades is showing that the complex forms of natural systems are essential to their functioning. 2030. The attempt to straighten rivers and give them regular cross-sections is perhaps the most disastrous example of this form and function relationship. The natural river has a very irregular form. It curves a lot, spills across floodplains, and leaks into wetlands, giving it an ever-changing and incredibly complex shoreline. This allows the river to accommodate variations in water level and speed. Pushing the river into tidy geometry destroys functional capacity and results in disasters like the Mississippi floods of 1927 and 1993 and, more recently, the unnatural disaster of Hurricane Katrina. 1927-1993 Mississippi, Katrina. A $50 billion plan to let the river loose in Louisiana recognizes that the controlled Mississippi is washing away 24 square miles of that state annually. Louisiana, let the river loose. 500 Mississippi 24. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 09, Number 5-6. If you were afraid of standing on balconies, you would start on some lower floors and slowly work your way up to higher ones. It would be easy to face a fear of standing on high balconies in a way that's totally controlled. Socializing is trickier. People aren't like inanimate features of a building that you just have to be around to get used to. You have to interact with them, and their responses can be unpredictable. Your feelings toward them are more complex too. Most people's self-esteem isn't going to be affected that much if they don't like balconies, but your confidence can suffer if you can't socialize effectively. It's also harder to design a tidy way to gradually face many social fears. The social situations you need to expose yourself to may not be available when you want them, or they may not go well enough for you to sense that things are under control. The progression from one step to the next may not be clear, creating unavoidable large increases in difficulty from one to the next. People around you aren't robots that you can endlessly experiment with for your own purposes. This is not to say that facing your fears is pointless when socializing. The principles of gradual exposure are still very useful. The process of applying them is just messy, and knowing that before you start is helpful. Day 10. MTC. Good job.